Hey guys, it's Coach Chuck and we're back with another video focusing on single blade work from Lacoste Inosanto method. Now we're going to be working on returns, particularly returning the blade back to the opponent as our first position of controls, and we're going to take this out of the Palasut drill. If you guys haven't seen our video on the Palasut drill, we'll put the link in the comments below and that'll get you caught up for what we're about to do today. All right, so we're going to start our video on the returns. We're looking at the shell of the Palasut drill once again. So again, that link to our previous Palasut drill video is going to be in the description and it'll get you caught up. But here, just for the point of reference, this is our Palasut drill here. So now, like in previous videos, this is going to be our flow drill that's going to be looking for points of entry. Now in this piece, we're going to look to go from points of entry, but also to control principles here. So we're going to look at this piece first, and I want to do this empty-handed because it might be a better way for you guys to see it right now. So on this first line here, we're looking at this position, or the Palasut, which again just means to pass through. So whether I am bladed or whether I am empty-handed, it's going to be the same position to pass this through. Now, if I missed my check, again, check out the video for where we're making our entries here. There is this line that's going to be open for Mike to come through on this here. Now, it can be because he is good, or it's because I'm opening that line so I can get to this control point. So we're going to look at this here. He comes, I'm going to hinge, and I'm going to control here on this. So I want to be racking this out. I want as much separation between Mike's two body halves and this as possible. So I want him all the way out here where he's extended, where his other hand has a long way to travel to come to what I want to do here. Now, Mike's reaction is going to be, he's going to want to pull the arm back, or he's going to want to turn this corner here to bring himself back into the fight here. Neither one of those I want, but it sets up a great position to make a return. And again, because we want to be kind people, he gave us something, so we want to return it to him after we're finished. So from this piece here, we tap that through, it comes up, and I offset him. I stretch him all the way out. So now, as he pulls back or turns, I want to help that with this position here. I want to pull that bicep, and I want to offset this here. Now, I don't want to push it straight back, because any stronger people, now we're looking at this here, he definitely does not want a piece of steel moving towards his face. So people get particularly strong when you have a piece of steel running towards your eye or your neck. You know, it's like, what is that? When keeping it real goes real wrong, he wants to keep it real. So we offset this off that line. So all of his strength is out. So we're putting everything on the rotator cuff. And now that sets back into our position here. So let's look at that one more time, and we'll show you the blade application. So we pass this through, comes up, and I want to be making that shielding motion, almost like a salute. So one more time, one here, and that gives that position of that pull across. I want to extend that. I want his elbow across my body, but I also want this hand, I can be striking, but I want to stretch him as far away from as possible. Now, if he pulls that back or turns the corner, the answer is going to be the same. I pull, and I offset this line here, and now cut back through, just like that. So that was the empty hand way to look at that, but it works just as well here. So again, the first piece of the Palasut drill, so as we go through that, we're here, we did this. This line is now right here. Everything else is going to be the exact same, but notice that position here. The blade point down, I'm using that as a hook. And when you think, I want you to think about it like this. I have a thumb up top to control, and now this becomes its own thumb. Yes, I know it's not a thumb, but it has that same mechanical advantage here to pull that through. Again, be cognizant for all of my blade guys out there, especially if you're new. Don't pull this and sheath it into yourself. That is a major faux pas for blade guys. So we're here, we're popping this out here. Everything else is the same. We pull, boom, and we're back into our position. So that is the way it's done in reverse grip. So let's look at that, where we're going to find that in the drill. On all the forehand angles, so let's go back to here. So Michael can feed me that angle 1. He can feed me an angle 3, which is that low body line here. He can even feed me a center line thrust. Everything is the same here. So regardless of it's here, that's my position on the high line. We'll do the same thing on the midline right here. The midline gets answered the same way, as will the thrust line. He hinges that up, and we're here on the same way. So while we're playing on the drill, while we're finding these positions, the feeder, in this case, side A, is acting as the coach in this situation where he's throwing grounders so you can pick him up and throw him to first base. It is not a real game. He's not cracking this out here. We're learning our lines and we're learning where we're going to make that control point. So when everyone says, oh, that will never be in real life, of course not. This is a drill to teach a particular set of skills. The next level is how to functionalize it is at a later time. But for right now, side A will be feeding a high diagonal, angle 1, a low midline at angle 3, or a centerline thrust on 5. And you can pick up this position at each point. All right, so there's another control point that I want you to look at to get to these returns. So now it's here, right at this piece here. When we made that cut up, it's now our next piece to get to our control point. So again, let's look at this as an empty hand specific first as an example so you can see it. So now Micah's now giving this backhand line, okay? So we're gonna shield this right here. The same way that we had this line here and this came to here, we're already on this. We already have that backhand line. So I'm gonna shield this here and now I'm gonna control as we do that. So we're gonna be entering on this one here and everything else is now gonna be the same piece of that drill. To isolate it with the blade work as that backhand comes, we're still making this cut up, but instead of tapping down and going into the drill in the pass here, once I cut up, I now snag it and offline that head. And then you continue the same mechanics as we did on the forehand line. So now we have the ability to control on forehand lines and backhand lines. Thank you guys for watching to the end. So now let's take the returns that we just did from the forehand side and the backhand side and plug them in to the Palasut drill's shell. Now from here, we're getting more and more dynamic and more functionalization of that drill by adding elements. As we build, we'll be able to get both sides disarming, sweeps, throws, and maybe even putting the mouthpieces on some gloves and see how spicy we can get. Thanks again for watching. Please remember, like, share, and subscribe. It really helps.